Hi, how's everyone doing today? Jamie McDonald here, marketing coordinator at EverLast Lighting, sitting down with one of our regional sales managers, Bryan Schultz, to talk about one of our newest offerings, the G13 garage and surface mount canopy fixture. How are you doing today, Bryan?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Still working from home like we're all doing, and like probably most of the people watching this are.
It's starting to feel like the norm. So
It is. It might be our new norm, I guess, moving forward. It's not too bad. I promise I'm wearing pants today, everyone. So not just a button-up shirt. So definitely excited to talk about the G13. As I mentioned in the intro there, it's a surface mount fixture. We're billing it as a garage and canopy fixture. And let's just talk about that. So, what are some applications that you might see this new G13 being used in, Bryan?
I'd say most common is going to be your parking structures. Also very common, you'll see them, entryways to certain facilities, overhangs for barns and different structures, things of that sort. It's one of those fixtures that kind of flies under the radar. You don't recognize it. But then when you start looking for it, it's a very, very common fixture in a lot of applications.
So look up when you're driving in places and walking in places, and you're probably going to run into a fixture like the G13.
Absolutely.
Cool. I know too that this fixture comes in multiple wattages with a pretty wide range of lumen outputs. Do you want to talk a little bit about how many different wattage options and what those lumen packages might look like with this fixture?
Yeah, so the wattages we're going to range from your low end at 25 watts, which is going to get you around 3,200 lumens. You're going to go all the way up to 70 watts, which is around 10,500 lumens. That's going to be more catered to an application with a higher mounting height, obviously. The lower end, and there's multiple wattages in between that range as well. So you can, and we can also provide photometrics on these lights as well. So if you have a certain application, whether it's a parking garage or whether it's an entryway, we can kind of look at the situation, run some photometrics for you, and kind of see what'll fit your application best.
Nice. It's one of those benefits that I think working with EverLast Lighting on a lighting product for your needs, we excel at that, So like you're talking about, photometrics, doing lighting layouts, because, not necessarily everybody's going to need, the 10,000 lumens that these things put out, for instance, maybe like a drive-through overhang at your local bank or something like that, where this light would be a perfect fit. You might not want 10,000 lumens of light blasting down into your customer's windshields, huh?
Well, yes and no. So the good thing about this particular fixture here, though, it actually incorporates a Fresnel lens with a 160-degree beam angle as well. So, I usually use our airport near us here in Detroit as a what not to do in some cases in regards to lower level mounting heights. It's an older style fixture, one of the original garage fixtures used when LED had come out. And you'll notice it when you drive through there, the disabling glare from it. And in that case, they have just their bare LEDs that are kind of shining right down. And in most cases, I'd say your mounting height in a parking garage or parking structure is going to be about 8 to 10 feet.
Okay.
So having a wide distribution as well as I'll call it softer, distribution on our side is really key. Obviously, you got a lot of things going on when you're in a parking garage, especially a busier area like an airport, something of that sort, where you're kind of looking around, trying to make sure that you got a lot of things going on. Obviously, trying to find a spot, trying to get to your plane, and then obviously having things like the glare shining down when you go to look up to see what area you're in. So there's a few things that can that can affect.
Right. That's a really great selling point for this fixture in particular, is that Fresnel lens that it's got. Like you said, a lot of other surface mount lights or canopy lights that we see from competitors, they just have a standard optic or lens over the bottom, and you end up with that glare. But the lens that we have offered on this one, the way that it forms the light, it's beam shaping, to give that wide 160-degree beam angle, also helps reduce that glare, so you're not basically blinding your patrons with this light.
Absolutely. And then also beyond that, the way the lens is designed, and you'll notice, on the cut sheet and some different images that we post as well, it's a very slim lens as well. So you're looking at the full profile of the picture being around 2.5 inches tall. So The
Nice.
benefit of that is for lower clearances, like I said, in parking garages, but also entryways. You'll see them a lot at restaurants and things of that sort. So to have a real slim profile is key, to not obstruct with anything.
Right. Yeah. Again, I can't talk enough about how exciting it is to have that lens, that optic on the bottom of this fixture that does allow for it to be so thin. Just because of the way those Fresnel lenses work, it allows us to compress that fixture, have it be a super trim profile, which is important in a parking structure for sure. I drive a big F-150, and driving through a parking garage is it's a little nerve wracking. And who wouldn't, appreciate that little bit of extra headspace when you're driving into a parking garage, by having a slim fixture like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, as is kind of standard, throughout the industry, a light like this tends to, it's not just an on and off fixture with a switch, or a timer or something like that. I know a lot of locations you'd want to use some sort of, occupancy sensing or some sort of proximity sensing. Does this fixture offer anything like that for customers?
Absolutely. And we actually started with that. We kind of looked at that edge, and we'll use a parking garage structure as a good example for that. In most cases, so the fixture itself, first of all, will come optional with the microwave sensor, which is key. Most of these parking structures are open air, obviously, at that point. So the key to a microwave sensor, when you have a passive infrared sensor, they're very temperature sensitive. So you can picture that sensor in there, and say you're in Florida, where the temperature is, 80, 90 degrees or somewhere higher than that even. Not to mention that, also with vehicles that are parked in there and driving through with exhaust and the heat off the engines and things of that sort. So it's sensing that, whereas those temperatures can reach and get very close to similar to like body temperature, which is what a passive infrared sensor would pick up on. So in that case, you might have a case where somebody's walking to their car and that temperature is just right on an older style, a PIR sensor, whereas it may not, pick them up because of the different temperature variation, or the closeness, I should say.
Right.
So that's where the microwave sensor comes into play, and it's very effective in that case. And also another benefit of that particular fixture there, it's actually it can become, or we can offer it with a Zaga receptacle, which is, could be the future. It seems like it's trending that way in regards to Zaga enabled fixtures. They've recently formed a consortium, the Zaga consortium. So kind of looking ahead at the tea leaves, you can kind of see where the industry is going. So we wanted to incorporate that in this unit in the event that, we might get ahead of the market. So
Right. Yeah, it's always good to be ahead of the curve on that. If something is looking like it's trending towards being maybe an industry standard or very, very commonplace, throughout the lighting industry, it's one of those things that we pride ourselves on, is being able to get ahead of the game and be prepared for that. And then, having the option to offer that Zaga receptacle is a benefit, not only, to us as the manufacturer selling the product, but of course to the end user who may end up going down that road in the future. So
absolutely.
again,
I failed to mention there, in regards to that microwave sensor, we have a BiLevel option as well, which is key in parking garages. Obviously, you think you pull into a parking garage, and I'll use this example here. It can be programmed with a wireless remote. You can go to the individual fixtures there and change their programming. Whereas level 1, which obviously may see the most traffic, you think when you pull into a parking garage, your first goal is to find the quickest parking spot there. So therefore, your settings and your timelines on that BiLevel sensor, and to take one step back, BiLevel sensing, when nobody's in the area, the light can go down anywhere from, down to 20 to 40% brightness as opposed to its full 100% brightness. So you still get a feel for some light level in that area.
okay.
Obviously, so more from a security standpoint, where you can at least maintain a minimum light level. But then again, in regards to the BiLevel, the key with that particular one is being able to adjust them differently. You may change the setting delay on the first floor different than you would say on the fourth floor of that structure, which may not see as much traffic. So you can kind of, and obviously these places mostly have data on the amount of traffic they're getting in these areas. So they could use that and then couple that with our technology and even garner even more energy savings. So
Nice. I'll tell you what, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something that is new to me hearing that, but it makes perfect sense, as you get further up in the parking structure, they tend to get less traffic because everybody wants to be, ground level or as close as they can to the exit. So being able to custom tailor every individual fixture, the facilities manager can just drive around in their vehicle, get close to a light, and just program those lights as they're needed to be. That's a really cool feature. I'm glad you brought that one up.
And also we're controls agnostic as well. So if they have an existing control system, and some of these places with larger facilities do, so what they could do in that case is they could actually tie into our fixture, into the dimming circuit or to the BiLevel circuit, and then program it in that manner as well. And obviously we're controls agnostic in that regard. So in most cases they'll be able to, tie into it, and then even taking a step above, they could program, from their chair there,
Nice.
if they have an existing control system in place currently. So,
yeah, that's one of the biggest talking points, I think, of all of our webinars in regards to pretty much all of our products, and that is controls agnostic. It's good to hear that mentioned regularly, and reassuring probably to the customers who are familiar with our product lines and maybe not familiar with this one, to hear that this one also is controls agnostic, so it can be integrated pretty much anywhere.
Absolutely.
So the fixture is designed for, the rigorous demands that one might see in parking structures, or, we mentioned earlier, canopies and overhangs. All of these are exposed to the elements, and frankly, they get abused. It's a lot worse than it would be on an indoor light. What kind of assurances do our customers have as far as warranty and things like that are concerned with the G13?
Yeah, so to first start, you'd start actually with the IP65 rating, so it can withstand, pretty much any environment, whether that be moisture or direct rain, dust, anything of that sort. So it starts obviously with the IP65 rating, which most people are going to be familiar with, but it's also backed by our 5-year warranty as well, which if you've bought from EverLast in the past, it's a pretty hassle-free experience in regards to our warranty. But again, this fixture would be covered under the 5-year warranty.
Nice. And, for those who are watching, if you're curious what it looks like, it's actually sitting right here between Brian and I. We're showing the white version of this, but Brian, do we offer it in any other colors?
Yes, absolutely. So our standard offerings, kind of looking around the industry, the most common colors we came across were going to be white and bronze, which will be our standard offerings. But if you end up having a application where they want blue or pink or orange or yellow, whatever you might need, obviously just reach out to us, and we can get you some pricing, whatever the adder may be in regards to that certain color, and work on that with you.
Nice. I know that we work with a major retailer here in the United States, and they have, some very specific requirements as far as color are concerned to match with their branding. And we've been able to accomplish that to the tune of tens of thousands of units with no problems there. So it's exciting to be able to, offer those things that are not quite standard to our customers.
Absolutely. But also the benefit too of EverLast, if you come to me and you need 4 fixtures, we're obviously going to treat it the same way as well too, and be able to, match your needs. So
yeah, that's something that you really can't count on the mega brands to do with their products. So, again, another reason to look to EverLast for all your lighting needs, whether large or small.
Absolutely.
Well, Brian, I'm not going to take up much more of your time today. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. I know the work from home thing often can be hectic. And I, again, thank you for taking time to introduce everyone to the G13. And thank you guys for watching this video. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day. Take care, Brian.
You too, Jamie. Thank you.